It is a news story that has left an indelible mark on the Indian psyche. 5 years after Nirbhaya Jyoti Singh was brutally gang-raped and murdered on a bus in the heart of the national capital, now her brutes face the gallows. The apex court upheld the trial court's judgment sentencing the 4 convicts to death. The 5th accused, Ram Singh, had committed suicide, hung himself to death, and the 6th was a juvenile who now roams free. With this death penalty, can Nirbhaya finally rest in peace? Well, that's the question.
जिस दिन को हम लोगों को बेसब्री से इंतजार था, आज वो दिन आया।
आप सब लोगों का धन्यवाद करते हुए मैं आगे यही एक रास्ता सोचता हूँ कि हमारे साथ जो हुआ था किसी और के साथ न हुआ और जिसके साथ हुआ है उसको न्याय मिले।
Finally, relief. Finally, they allow themselves to heave a sigh of relief. Finally, Nirbhaya's parents know that the 4 men who participated in violating and butchering their daughter have been sent one step closer to the place where they belong, the gallows. Despite arguments made by the amicus curiae, the Supreme Court agreed that the heinous rape and murder fell into the rarest of rare category. The top court also observed that the investigation in the case was watertight and cannot be doubted. Nirbhaya's dying declaration cannot be ignored. Various foreign objects were used to physically torture Nirbhaya to death. Due to the mitigating circumstances, the case will be a precedent for all.
इस जुर्म को देखा जाए और उस जुर्म को जिस बेदर्दी से किया गया है, हाँ, जिस बेदर्दी से इसे किया गया है, इसलिए कोर्ट का ये कहना था कि इस केस में डेथ सेंटेंस के सिवाय और कोई सेंटेंस कोर्ट नहीं रहेगा।
मैं इससे असंतुष्ट हूं और जैसे जजमेंट मिल जाएगा उसको स्टडी करके हम उस पर जो रिव्यू है हम रिव्यू फाइल करेंगे।
But this is not the first time that the judiciary has attempted to make India safer for its women. A month after Nirbhaya's death, the Justice Verma Committee was formed to tighten rape laws in India. But with every passing year, crimes against women have only increased.
But the bigger question remains that while Nirbhaya seems to have got justice, what happens to other women in this country? And interestingly, by the latest statistics, the conviction in the rape offences has just gone down in 2016-2017. With camera person Pratap, this is Anusha Soni for India Today.
From 16th December 2012 to the 5th of May 2017, about 4.5 years. This case has seen many twists and turns till now. Within 10 minutes, the 3-judge bench encapsulated 5 years there. The 4 convicts would now hang unto death. That is what retribution is what Nirbhaya's parents, Jyoti Singh's parents, are telling us. Let me go across to Abha Singh. She's a women's rights activist. She's joining us from Mumbai. Meanwhile, Purnima Advani, senior advocate, is also with us. Indrajit Kundu, my colleague, it's been taken very well by people across the country. It was just not a case which was in Delhi. The entire Indian psyche was attached to the outcome of this case. Indro, before I go to our guests, I want to quickly come across to you. What reactions are you picking up, especially from women across the country? You're in Kolkata there, quickly.
Well, Preeti, that's right. Even though people, especially women in Kolkata, have welcomed the Supreme Court judgment, the question that all of them are asking is, what took the Supreme Court so long? It's been 4 years which is taken for this judgment to come. Death penalty being upheld. Are you satisfied? Are you happy with the judgment?
Well, yes, I am pretty much happy with the judgment, but I think that this verdict should have come much before. I mean, in 2013, they had in junior court, the verdict was once it came out. But why again it took so long?
So why did the judgment took so long? Tell me something. Can, judgments like these, death penalty, can it be a deterrent against sexual crime? Do you think people will fear the law now?
I basically think that they should have been tortured more and should have been felt the pain she have went through by all those criminals also should have gone through such pain and tortured and then hanged.
Well, so, this is the kind of voices that you are getting. Yes. Women, they feel so strongly about it. They feel that, even though they have been handed out the death penalty after 4 years, they think they have not been able to go through the kind of pain and agony that Nirbhaya was subjected to in that heinous crime.
Abha, let's look at this. Now, like what my colleague Indrajit was saying, what the various, the girls who were with him were saying, that why did it take so long? But if you actually look at it from international standards, it hasn't taken so long. It's taken about 5 years, 3 years when it has, been in the court there. Internationally, it's not taken so long. But if you look at it from here on, should this lead to a larger debate? Should we have more courts, to entertain, especially cases where women crimes are concerned? Should it lead to that larger debate? Maybe have more labs where rape victims are concerned.
Of course, because the punishment has to be harsh and it has to be swift. Only then the real impact will come and we will be able to control this increasing crime. Definitely, when this case was so clear, the victim had given a dying declaration in front of a magistrate. All the evidences were collected, the forensics were there. After that, if it takes 4.5 years, it was not at all complicated. It was a crystal clear case, and after that, definitely the question is going to be asked, why such a long delay? Why couldn't Supreme Court decide the appeal earlier? Why did it take so much time? And that is the reason that there is no deterrence, there is no fear of the law in the mind of the general public. And of course, it's a good thing that death penalty has been pronounced, but it would have been definitely better if it was on a time frame. Coming to your second question, there is a vast vacancy of judges.
Yes.
The courts are less, and definitely there is a judicial overhaul is required. But at the moment, there is a tussle between the judiciary and the government, and that is why the appointment of judges are slow, and maybe that is the reason that crime is on the rise. And one more important thing is conviction. Barely 29% is the conviction in rape cases.
Right. Stay with me, Abha. Let's bring in Purnima Advani there. Purnima, but taking off from what Abha is saying, should now, from here on, this lead to a larger debate? Let this be the cornerstone of a larger debate. Let the Nirbhaya verdict be that, where we have fast-track courts which entertain and hear, especially cases when it comes down to crimes against women.
Absolutely. I would say this is such a serious issue that every case, every step must be used for a larger debate. Now, coming to the timeline, yes, on the one hand, if we look at it, 5 years is a very long time for such matters to be dealt with even till the stage of Supreme Court. But I had once conducted a study of the longevity of these matters such as rape cases, and it has taken in the past even 16 to 25 years to deal
by
with
Indian
such
standards,
matters,
this has been
from
very
the stage
fast
of trial to the stage of final judgment by the Supreme. By Indian standards I'm talking. I don't need to import any other standard. I'm talking of Indian standards. Therefore, I welcome the fact that a harsh judgment is there. It must give a message right from the trial court level to the high court levels that these matters must be taken up both seriously, strictly, and also within timelines. Yes, there is always a need for larger number of benches to be set up, particularly to deal with crimes against women. What has been happening is the person who has committed the crime or goes scot-free for a number of years, and ultimately it turns out that, well, he is of young age, this, that, so leniency shown. In a number of cases this has happened, which is a totally incorrect message to go. And the girl, especially in our Indian rural setting, cannot come out of her house. She is looked down upon as if she has committed a crime. All this has to change if at all empowerment of women has to become a reality.
All right, Abha and Purnima, stay with me. Now, I was there in court today, me and my colleague in court. And when the judgment was announced, there was a massive applause inside the court to the effect that the three-judge bench had to intervene and said that this is a court. There was complete peace and calm on the face of Jyoti Singh's parents as well. Now, there's a reason to this, because there has been such a big social movement as well attached to this particular case. And that's the reason why this, as per Indian standards, this case saw a conclusive end in just 5 years. Want to cut across to Shalini Lobo. My colleague is joining me with some women there who are ecstatic with this verdict. It's over to you, Shalini.
Well, Preeti, I've got with me here some working women, and we're going to ask them how they welcome this verdict and what they feel as women walking on the streets of the national capital after Nirbhaya and even before Nirbhaya happened. If I might ask you, how did you feel as a young woman who had to go probably wee hours in the morning or late in the night for work?
We are not safe at all. We show that yes, we are going every day, we are coming from our home. But yes, being a lady, every time I feel insecure, Even if you're standing, be a lady is in wearing suits alert, she's coming from her home, she'll find a lot of comments has been put on her. I don't feel like Delhi is personally, this is just a single can't, we are talking about here, because somewhere it has come on limelight.
Were there instances when people told you, why don't you take a male friend along or a male colleague along, you'll be fine?
Thousands of times, even my mom says this to me. So, things are like somewhere we have done something bad. So we have been especially...
How do you see today's Supreme Court verdict saying that these 4 who are accused in this case will now be sent to the gallows? They're going to be hanged for what they did. How do you see that?
I think they are late.
That's what you think, that they're late? 5 years was too long a time.
They should have sent them us, we would have killed them. Sorry to say that.
This is the anger, Preeti, that the people have, that they should have sent them to us and we would have done a fair amount of justice.
All right, Shalini, let me bring in our colleague Anusha, who's been tracking this case very closely over the last 3 years. And she was in court today when the final verdict was announced. Anusha, what from here on? What we do know is that a review petition will be filed where the 4 convicts are concerned, and this time will be heard in an open court. What does an open court hearing mean?
So, Preeti, that's another aspect of this entire debate that's going on in the country, and what we're overlooking is that this is a sentence for death. The Indian law after Yaqub Memon's hanging and ever since his trial is very clear that every time there is a death sentence given by the top court of the country, the review petition will get a full hearing, which means that there will be arguments on both the sides, and that's the last chance given to them as far as the open hearing is concerned to put up their case to the court. So clearly a major step has come from the Supreme Court, but the review is another opportunity for the convicts in this case.
All right, ladies, appreciate you joining us there. Rabha Singh, activist, Purnima Advani, senior advocate, Anusha, who was there in the court today, and Shalini Lobo. I'm afraid we just have to leave it at that.